And the implication of all of this, which I think is already underway, is the utter irrelevance of Europe. And that the worst form of this arrangement, the worst, I hope doesn't happen, would be that the accommodation found between China and the United States comes by an agreement to carve up Europe, each taking portion, and that they will solve all kinds of domestic problems about the accommodation part by saying, well, look what we got. Because Europe, by its disunity and by its historical inheritance, being the bad colonial power that everybody has hateful memories of, cannot play this kind of role and is therefore in the process of losing its whole position. This display now, in which a dispute between the United States and Russia hobbles Europe, and Europe doesn't do anything about it. I mean, I don't know if you're familiar. The inflation in Europe is much worse than here. The unemployment in Europe is much worse than here. The sanctions against Russia hurt Europe, not here, but they were insisted upon here. The governments in Europe that go along with it are right-wing, pro-American governments. Their biggest job in the years ahead is to not lose their position in their own countries because of what they did. The conservatives in England, let me conclude, in case this is of interest to people, the conservatives in England, since Margaret Thatcher, have been buddy-buddy with the United States. The last election, which only happened a couple of months ago, blew them out of the water. Millions and millions of traditional conservative voters voted them out, brought in the Labour Party, which, by the way, used to be called the Socialist Party in many people's minds in England. The French government, where the largest bloc in the assembly is now socialist, comes to power over the same thing because the previous leaders were all too close to the United States. Okay, the handwriting is on the wall. I don't think people like Meloni in Italy and others, they're not going to be there very much longer because of their association with closeness to the United States, which looks like the opposite of a winning proposition over the last few years, and they're gonna suffer the political consequences as the left wing has an easy time. Right now, in Germany, for example, you have a rising new star on the left, a woman, by the way, if you want to interview someone, get another perspective. I don't know if the name means anything to you yet. It will. Sarah, first name, Wagenknecht in German, but with a W, because W in German is pronounced with a V. So Wagenknecht, she's the left, socialist, left-wing socialist. And on the right, the, I don't know what the first word, Aufstand für Deutschland, AfD, a right-wing party. They are both destroying the middle. And then the same argument, you're too close to the United States. Both of them don't want the war in Ukraine either. They just forced the parliament yesterday in Germany to say we're not going to cancel the money we promised in previous years, which still has to be spent. But as of 26, so not this year, not next year, but as of 26, no more money for Ukraine. Now, what does that mean? The parliament can make a different decision next week. But it's a sign in the wind. That wasn't possible 6 months ago. Now, the population in Germany is so angry that they are the ones paying the bill for this big American policy. They don't want a war in Ukraine. They don't want a war anywhere near Europe. They know what war is. Americans don't. They don't want this.